Hello everyone, my name is Mike Page and I am the studio manager at Crate 47, a creative design agency based in London and Brighton in the UK and Los Angeles. And we offer strategically creative solutions in brand design, web design and visual content creation. Firstly, I'd like to say how amazing it is to be part of LA Design Festival this year. And I think we are all extremely lucky to still have opportunities like this, even though we are in the middle of a pandemic. But don't worry, just so you know, I'm not going to dwell on COVID too much. It may come up again towards the end of my talk, but I'd like to focus on branding as a whole and how it can help a business to be more successful, even when times are tough like they are now. I'll cover what we as an agency feel branding signifies, the aspects of branding that should be carefully considered if you're a startup looking to begin your business, or if you're looking to rebrand something that's existing, and the positive results a successful brand could provide. So let's start with the number one question that we are always asked as an agency, and that is, what is branding? I'm often surprised when people ask that question because we are subject to branding almost every hour of every day. As humans, we have a need to reinvent ourselves or self-promote, and this was apparent long before advertising and marketing was even a thing. Simply put, branding is everything that is communicated out of the business or by an individual in order to achieve success. It's important to note that everything that goes into the branding process is carefully considered, especially on our part as a design agency. When we look closer at a brand, it forms the personality of a business. It's what leaves an impact on an audience, creating a lasting impression. A brand can include anything from a logo, typography, to colorways, packaging and visuals, along with customer service, price, product quality and corporate responsibility. It certainly isn't just a logo on its own. However, it is also important to note that a brand is more intangible than just that. It can involve personality, lifestyle and history as part of its offering to its audience. These factors can be crucial in establishing a brand identity that stands out from others in the same field. Emotion also plays a key role in the impact and impression of a brand, how it leaves the consumer feeling once they've visited your website or looked at a brochure. It's a key brand-driven response. It can even come down to how you answer the phone and position the cost of a product with a potential customer. Next, it's important to understand how brands are often perceived. Subconsciously, branding is acknowledged even when we are unaware of brand positioning or trying to lead a brand-free existence. For example, someone might actively seek companies that don't use a brand and still, they become subject to branding. The use of a non-brand is a clever way of positioning that business. It appeals to the nature of a certain demographic. Therefore, it becomes non-brand branding. It sounds a bit far-fetched, but hopefully you're still with me and get that as much as we like to think brands are subjective, like art, it's not that clear-cut. We can be influenced even when it's positioned with no intent at all. Although it is the company who builds the brand, it's the way the consumer perceives the brand that defines it. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you may think your brand promise is. It's whether the consumer believes in it and is willing to invest. One example from our own portfolio is Hogarth Chambers. We took this barrister chambers and their history and produced a brand refresh that held on to their client perception. That was the most successful part. It wasn't the logo, the colourways, even though that looked great. It was the nod to their history in the form of a law seal, which we chose to make into a mark, and the accompanying photographs that we took and the website that acknowledged this and their history and their wealth of experience. That is what sells their services to a client. That leads me nicely onto client expectations, which can be extremely high when it comes to branding. It's vital to make sure what your brand has to offer can actually be offered. Consumers develop expectations for a brand so that when they invest in it, they expect them to be met without fail. If your brand doesn't meet the consumer needs, then they will become disappointed and will look elsewhere. So it's important to make sure you're able to follow through on what you're offering and that your brand isn't making this difficult. Another question we are often asked is, what does branding do? It's important to consider what each area of the brand will do. So from the logo to the touch points that are created, like the website, printed items, and even the social media and marketing materials. But as a whole, brands are there to build businesses, and without it, businesses may be non-existent. Like everything else, when starting a brand, it's essential to do your research. It's important to understand your competitors, the audience, so you can develop your brand to produce the right product or service for the right audience. And whilst the brand takes a lot of consideration in design, so does the implementation and how best to market it. Having an online presence and developing a digital marketing strategy is probably key. Whatever content you put online, and especially on your website, it has to be engaging for the customers. This can be done through interesting written content, infographics, high quality imagery, video, colour, all of which can help draw the viewer's attention. Building a well-designed and user-friendly website is very important to promote your business, as it gives your visitors a great experience. Creating content that people want to share and link to naturally builds authority for your website. When you start to hear back from customers online, listen to them. It's important to engage with them and make them feel that their feedback or opinion is heard and taken on board. Building a reputation for a business that is customer-based is a good thing. That sentiment is invaluable in the current market. Your website is what you own. You can do what you want with it and make it as powerful as you can. Sure, social media does play a big part in drawing attention to your website, but you will never have complete control over those platforms. When you invest in your website, you are building equity for the long term. According to Google, as of 2020, 58% of all web searches are on mobile devices, so it's essential that businesses are mobile ready. Apply some SEO to your website. We can't stress this enough. The significance of SEO is important. It draws attention, so don't ignore it. SEO continues to be relevant, and it's important to care about being on Google's good side, as it's the most powerful search engine. SEO drives traffic to your site, but it does need to be smart. You must be able to identify relevant key phrases with strong click-through rates. SEO will help build equity in your site. Keeping it working and updated will benefit you in the long run. One company who trusted us to manage their digital marketing campaign is RJ Steel Building Contractors. And they are a commercial and residential construction company based here in the UK. And we created their website, all the written and visual content, and we manage their SEO and social media. And this is done on a month-by-month basis. So they're still a client of ours. But here's what they said about having a successful digital marketing strategy. Another area that RJ still took advantage of was the review forms that can be completed on Google. This is a great tool, and it is actually quite powerful. You seek out the reviews on these platforms from your customers, and the reviews can really work in your favour, as they are social proof of the quality you can deliver. The best way to receive reviews is to ask for them once you've performed your service. Follow up on long-term customers regularly and aim to provide them with the best service possible. And that becomes part of brand building. Google trusts established brands. And if you have an established brand, then your website has a better chance of ranking higher. If you provide a service that people like, then more people will search for your business online by your name. The more searches your brand name gets, the more credibility it has, and that has a knock-on effect. And then there's content marketing. And this is a great way to keep your audience engaged. So not just through the website, but consistent updates, including imagery and infographics, which will also draw your audience attention. Consistency is also the key to this. This makes it easier for customers to understand what your brand is about and helps build trust between you and the consumer. Content marketing needs to be done right to enable your website to work well, so it's important you do your research. And there are various forms of content. So you can look at creating blogs, a way of promoting your business. A good blog takes time to write, research, and post. Blogs can be useful, and they can direct the customer to a specific part of a website, which can be another way of drawing their attention. Video marketing is using videos to promote and market your product or service. Videos can increase engagement on your social channels, educate potential customers about your services, and increase your audience reach. And this is all through one medium. According to a report from HubSpot Research, more than 50% of consumers want to see videos from brands more than any other type of content. Video can be useful for entertainment too. They can help customers make buying decisions, as they can be a great way of convincing your audience that your service is worth investing in. There are many ways of promoting. So it's so important to do your research to see which way would work best for you. And this brings me to social media. This is one of the best ways of online marketing for your business. It's free and can be really fun and a great way to interact. Social media platforms have pros and cons, and some target various aspects better than others. But having a profile on all social media channels shows that you're interactive and engaging. Social media draws in customers. So make sure you're posting interesting content. Use this as a way to encourage people to leave reviews and comment on what you're posting, as not only is this useful for you, but it can also count as a ranking signal for Google. So I'd like to finish by just saying it's important to be patient and just to keep working at it, because like most things, this isn't a quick process. SEO and content marketing can take a while, before you see results, but it is all worth it in the end. Staying committed and continuing to find out more about how to market your brand and your business online will increase its success. It's not just about tactics. It's about staying patient and dedicated, which will help enable your brand to stay way above others and retain its reputation. So I'd like to close with this. It's important to remember that even though we are in a somewhat strange and disconcerting time, your brand doesn't have to be affected. Now is a good time as any to start your new brand or rebrand and reinvent your old business. But along with this, make sure your online presence and interaction with your market is on point. Keep up the hard work and it will pay off. Thank you for listening. I hope you found this video useful, and if you'd like to inquire about any of the areas I've mentioned in the video, please contact Crate47.